For a year, I financially supported my sister, but at a family gathering, she humiliated me in front of everyone. Every week for 12 months, I sent her $500 to help with her expenses. Yet, during a holiday dinner, she loudly declared, "You're irritating me. Why are you even here?" I was shocked and left immediately. The next day, she showed up, pleading for forgiveness. In hindsight, I should have seen it coming, but I missed the signs. When my younger sister, Lisa, approached me last year, she explained she was struggling to afford college. I didn't hesitate to help. She was family, and I'd always supported her. She described being overwhelmed by tuition, books, and rent, claiming it was all too much and that no one else could help. Our parents, who always seemed to favor her, hadn't supported me during my college years, and she said they weren't helping her either. So, I stepped in. I wasn't rich, but I had a steady job, a simple apartment, and minimal expenses. I figured $500 a week wasn't much if it meant helping her graduate. So, I began sending the money every Friday, feeling proud to be the reliable sibling. But over time, something felt wrong. Lisa never talked about her studies, no mention of exams, professors, or grades. I thought she was just reserved, but then my younger brother, Mark, dropped a bombshell during a casual call. While discussing family matters, he mentioned, "Lisa's apartment is nice. She lives with friends, but it's way better than my place." I froze. Roommates? She'd made it sound like she was struggling alone, which was a key reason I'd been sending her money. I didn't confront her immediately, but started watching more closely. Another red flag came during another call with Mark. When I asked about Lisa's classes, he hesitated before admitting, "I don't think she's even enrolled anymore." The words hit hard. Pressing him, he revealed she'd failed multiple courses, stopped attending, and was likely getting kicked out of school. That's when I realized I'd been misled. I didn't stop the payments entirely, not yet, but I was done being used. The following Friday, I sent $250 instead of $500. Lisa noticed immediately, texting within minutes, "Hey, you only sent $250. Was that an error?" I ignored it. An hour later, another message, "You forgot the rest." I didn't respond. She went quiet after that. For 2 weeks, I sent $250 each Friday, and she said nothing. I thought she'd gotten the hint. I was wrong. The holidays approached, and I wasn't planning to attend the family dinner, as these events always stirred up drama. But Mark convinced me, saying, "It's just one meal." So, I went, a huge mistake. At first, things seemed fine. Mom was cooking, Dad was setting the table, and Mark was on his phone. I wondered if I'd overreacted about Lisa. Maybe she just needed time to calm down. Then she arrived. She didn't acknowledge me, didn't even look my way. Sitting on the couch, she announced loudly, "Why are you here? You're so annoying." The room went silent. I stared, wondering if I'd misheard. She rolled her eyes and added, "Nobody asked you to come." I looked to my parents, expecting them to intervene, but they continued as if nothing had happened. Without a word, I grabbed my keys and left. No one stopped me. A day later, Lisa appeared at my door with our parents in tow. I hadn't expected to see her after her outburst. I figured she'd spend weeks bad-mouthing me or sending snarky texts. Instead, that evening, someone pounded on my door so loudly it could have woken the neighbors. I opened it to find Lisa, with Mom and Dad behind her. She pushed past me as if she owned my home. Mom followed, shaking her head in exaggerated disapproval, while Dad lingered before stepping inside and shutting the door, as if this was some sort of family meeting. I stayed silent, arms crossed, waiting. Lisa plopped onto my couch, looking annoyed, as if I'd wronged her. Then she demanded, "When are you sending the rest of the money?" That's when I saw how entitled she'd become. She genuinely believed I owed her, that I was obligated to fund her life just because she expected it. There was no gratitude, no acknowledgement of the year I'd supported her, just demands. When I told her the payments were done, she laughed as if I were joking. My parents were no better. Mom insisted Lisa needed help, that it was my duty as her older sibling to provide it. Dad just nodded, already disengaged. So, I laid out the truth. I knew about her roommates, that she'd lied about living alone, that she'd quit school and was facing expulsion. I even mentioned Mark had told me. Their reaction stunned me. Lisa didn't look ashamed, just irritated. Mom barely reacted. Dad mumbled it wasn't a big deal. That's when I realized how deep their favoritism ran. Mom even defended her, saying Lisa wasn't built for hardship like I was, that it was easier for men to earn money, so I shouldn't judge her. Lisa sat there, arms crossed, expecting me to give in. So, I opened my banking app and canceled the automatic transfers in front of them. Lisa's face twisted in anger. She leapt up, yelling that I couldn't do that I had no right. Mom gasped as if I'd broken a law. Dad sighed and left. Lisa stormed out, slamming the door. Mom gave me a long, disappointed look before following. Dad was already gone. I locked the door and felt a weight lift off my shoulders. But Lisa wasn't done. The next morning, my phone was flooded with messages from her, Mom, and even strangers. Lisa's texts swung between demands and insults, calling me selfish, ungrateful, a terrible sibling. Moms were worse, accusing me of abandoning family, claiming Lisa had cried all night, that I was ruining her life over a little money. The unknown numbers? Lisa's friends, who she'd told I was refusing to help, now harassing me, saying it was my duty as a man to support her. It was so ridiculous I almost laughed. Instead, I blocked them all. That evening, as I headed out for groceries, I found Lisa outside my apartment, arms crossed, looking drained. Mom stood behind her, rubbing her temples as if this was exhausting her. Dad was absent. He'd clearly had enough. Lisa didn't waste time. You have one last chance to make this right, she said, as if I owed her an apology. I said no. She erupted, ranting about rent, bills, and how she didn't have time for a job. When I asked what she was doing with her time, she brushed it off. Mom chimed in, saying I was being harsh, that family supports family, that I had more money, so why did it matter? I told them the truth. I wasn't as wealthy as they assumed. I'd given Lisa $26,000 over the year, more than enough. I couldn't keep sacrificing my future while she did nothing. Lisa didn't care. She called me selfish, said I didn't love her, that she'd have helped me if the roles were reversed, a blatant lie. When I asked why she wouldn't get a job, she snapped. I had one, but it was too stressful. I deserved better. That was it. I told her I'd never send another penny. She needed to grow up and handle her own life. Lisa stormed off, and Mom gave me one last disappointed glare before leaving. For the first time in months, my phone was silent, no calls, no texts. I thought maybe Lisa had finally faced reality. Then Mark called, his opening line making my stomach sink. Dude, Lisa's moving back with Mom and Dad. She'd shown up with her belongings, claiming it was temporary, but Mark knew better. She's been whining nonstop, he said. Says it's all your fault. A week later, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail, but saw her text, call me, we need to discuss this. I knew what was coming. When I called back, she skipped pleasantries. Lisa needs to come home, but our house is too small. If you won't send money, let her stay with you. I laughed. Mom didn't like that. She said Lisa just needed a few months to get settled. Settled? She'd been living rent-free for a week, doing nothing, and now they wanted to push her onto me? I shut it down. Mom accused me of abandoning family, holding a grudge over a few harsh words. I hung up. The next day, I came home to find Lisa outside my apartment with 2 suitcases. She wasn't crying or pleading, just standing there like she'd already moved in. I walked past, unlocked my door, and stepped inside. She tried to follow, saying, Mom said you'd let me stay. I said no. She rolled her eyes. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem, I replied. She scoffed. You have the space. You don't even have a roommate or a girlfriend. Why do you care? I told her I cared about my peace, my sanity, and not being manipulated into supporting an entitled adult who refused to work. She hated that. She yelled, called me selfish, said I was abandoning my sister to freeze. Then she tried the old line. It's just until I get things sorted. I asked if she'd even looked for a job. She grimaced. Mom and Dad said you'd handle it. That was enough. I stepped back, grabbed the door, and said, then go to them. I closed the door in her face. She didn't scream, just muttered angrily before leaving with her suitcases. An hour later, Mom called, furious. Lisa came home in tears. I deleted the voicemail without replying. That night, I slept better than I had in years. But Lisa wasn't finished. A few days later, my bank flagged a $500 transfer attempt from her. She'd saved my account details and tried to take the money herself. I closed the account, changed all my banking information, and waited for her to explain. She didn't. Instead, Mom called, demanding I unblock Lisa because she needs the money. That was the final straw. I called Mom back and said, I'm done with Lisa, with you, with all of this. She screamed, called me heartless, said I'd regret it. I hung up mid-sentence and blocked her, Dad, and Lisa. For the first time in years, my life was calm, no guilt trips, no demands, no drama. Then Mark called. After some small talk, he jokingly said, "Hey, can I borrow $5,000?" I nearly dropped the phone. "You're kidding, right?" He laughed. "Man, you should have heard your voice." "Gotcha." We both laughed. Before hanging up, he said, "For what it's worth, you did the right thing. Lisa actually had to get a job." Crazy, right? I smiled. Not my problem anymore. And I meant it. 6 months later, life is better than ever. No more weekly $500 drains, no guilt trips, no Lisa. But just when I thought it was over, Mark called again. You're gonna want to hear this. Lisa's situation had worsened. She'd taken a job she despised, but our parents got fed up and told her to pay rent or leave. She threw a tantrum, called them selfish, and moved out. She stayed with one of her friends, the same ones who'd harassed me, but they kicked her out for not contributing. Then she tried reaching me. I found a blocked message from an unknown number. "Hey, I know things got messy, but I need a place to stay, just until I get back on my feet." I deleted it without responding. Mark laughed when I told him. "Guess you're her last resort now." "Not anymore," I said. Lisa made her choices. Now she has to live with them.